Today we're going to look at the best replacements to banned commander cards. Now let's start off with Tinker. I bet you wish you could play Tinker. I like the look of Tinker. Of course, no one's going to play with this like innocently. But it's a 3-mana sorcery, and at any time, at the time that you play Tinker, you got to sacrifice an artifact, and you get to search your library for any artifact card and put that card into play. Then you got to shuffle your library afterwards. What is the sole purpose of Tinker? You just want to tutor an artifact directly onto the battlefield. And frankly, the cost of this is like a little too cheap. But I tell you what you can do. You can play the Whir of Invention. We're inventing around here. For a blue X instant, you can improvise. You can use your other artifacts on the battlefield. Don't sacrifice them. Keep them on the battlefield. Just tap them like Convoke. To help pay for the X, search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it directly onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at Sheelan wants Yawgmoth's Bargain, a replacement with Necropotence. Yawgmoth's Bargain. I'm surprised. I'm surprised one of these cards are legal. Yawgmoth's Bargain, 6 mana. You want to pay 1 life to be drawing cards? Well, apparently you can't do that here. Not even for 6 mana. 6 mana too broken. I wonder if this is still broken with more artifact mana getting banned. If you get my drift. Anyway, you don't skip your draw step, but why do you need to? Because when you pay 1 life, it's insane. Absolutely insane. In Commander, you got 40 life to pay for all those cards. Necropotence is a fine replacement. It's cheaper. In my opinion, it's better. But that's just my opinion. Now, you don't get the cards immediately. You do still pay 1 life, and you get them at end of turn. And you know what? If you can play them at instant speed, you can draw as many cards as you want before the discard phase. Just make sure you can play them at instant speed. All right, next up, Meme Bruli says, replace Jeweled Lotus with Dark Ritual. Jeweled Lotus. You're not wrong, honestly. Basically does the same thing without the commander restriction for 1 mana. So if you're in the color pie of black, you're looking at your Jeweled Lotus. This was, well, it's not exactly the same thing, right? So basically with Dark Ritual, you're getting like you get 2 mana. It's better than nothing. So you have your Jeweled Lotus. You're supposed to crack it for 3 black. Well, instead you could have Dark Ritual. You pay 1 black, you get triple black. So you effectively get 2 mana, which is not bad, all right? We're not going to complain about 2 mana around here. Not going to complain about 2 mana. Mana Drain is legal. What are you talking about, Will Anderson? Mana Drain is completely legal. The cheaper the replacement, the better the placement. That is correct, Ryan. So that would be even more creative. Okay, Old Boy has Grizzlebrand. It's a wild one in the first place. I'm really surprised this thing's banned in Commander. And again, people said it's like banned. It's not. If it was a commander, it'd be worse. It's better in the deck, so you can like tutor it into your graveyard. The card that you pay 7 mana to draw 7 cards. It's just like it's another Yawgmoth's Bargain, effectively. And you want to. It's an evil Yawgmoth's Bargain. You want Vilis, Broker of Blood. Vilis, Broker. Are we paying life to draw some cards around here? It is. It's also 8 mana for an 8/8. It's also a demon. They have those things in common. This thing has flying. Pay a black and 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And whenever you lose life, you actually draw that many cards. You do cash in. I would say this is a phenomenal replacement to Grizzlebrand. This is probably the best one I could possibly think of. Oh no, there was not a snipe. This was literally, it was like literally posted before King Ginger got in there. King Ginger, that was an amazing suggestion. You sniped yourself. I don't know, maybe out of lag or something. Okay, we got these are banned commander cards. Is Summer Blow? Oh, you want to replace Fast Bond with the Summer Blow. Oh, like let's look at Fast Bond. Great suggestion, Steve Cooper. We have a green enchantment. You may play any number of lands on each of your turns. Whenever you play a land, if it wasn't the first land you played this turn, Fast Bond deals 1 damage to you. Now, let's be serious. When you play Fast Bond, you'd only be dumping like 3-ish, up to 3 lands anyway. Like, it's great ramp, don't get me wrong. But it's not like you're going to dump your hand of lands onto the battlefield. You're going to have spells to play. And of course, if you have a lot of card draw, maybe you are going to be playing multiple lands on the further turns. But really, it's just a mostly a one-time shebang. And we've got a card. Excellent suggestion by Steve Cooper. Summer Bloom. For a green 1 generic sorcery, you may play up to 3 additional lands this turn. So effectively, doing the same thing you wanted off of your fast bond, you will dump 3 more lands and get that acceleration that you were looking for to get ahead of everyone else in this game. This is a troll. Ryan Harris is like, Mana. This is not a very useful one. Okay, Mana Crypt. Replaced with Soul Ring. This basically, this is a joke. I hate that this is the default image for the Soul Ring. Ugh, I hate all these default images. Just give me something that looks like a Soul Ring, damn it. I want a Soul Ring. Not the Zilla. Tolarian Academy replaced by Talaria? They don't do anything. Those have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. Well, I posted it before that comment, then I super chatted. So, oh, I see. Okay. Okay, give me another one, King Ginger. Give me another one. Okay, Julian with Panoptic Mirror. Is Panoptic Mirror banned? It's banned! That's insane! What is going on here? This is a broken card. 5 mana artifact, imprint, X, tap. You may remove an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy and imprint an instant or sorcery card and play that card. Oh, it's a basically like a time warp maker. Extra turn. Can't have it. I mean, infinite extra turns. That'd be terrible. Okay, Isochron Scepter. Okay, if you wanted to do things the fair way. And the thing is, Isochron Scepter does things the fair way. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your hand. How many instant speed cards for 2 mana exist that give you an extra turn? I think absolutely nothing. So, this is a great suggestion. And then you can pay to tap, you may copy the exiled card, and if you do, you may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. And that's why Isochron Scepter is probably one of the most popular cards out there. Allocations. I saw this video in my suggestion. I either knew it would be nothing but Soul Ring suggestions or not a single one. No, we already got one. At least one so far. It's probably going to be more. Upheaval. Is there not like a better Upheaval? It's close. There's got to be a better Upheaval, like for a lot more mana. I'll put this up here first, I guess. Upheaval. This is not a very budget. You know what this is Upheaval. What this is teaching me is that there's like for the effects that people want that are banned, people will pay a lot more money for them because Cyclonic Rift probably is the next best thing. So for 6 mana, just boing everything back to everyone's hands. All permanents go back. But that's sort of annoying. It's really annoying to a whole lot of people. So it's banned. Cyclonic Rift. Also annoying. But legal because you'll kill them after that. Ideally. Probably. Okay, next up. You can imprint Summer Bloom into it. There you go. We can imprint Summer Bloom. No, isn't it instant? Summer Bloom's a sorcery. You may exile an instant card. No, you can't imprint Summer Bloom onto Isochron Scepter. Unfortunately, no, I don't know that. No work around here. Okay, next up, Lewis says Nadu. Okay, I'm curious about this. Kodama of the West tree. Kodama of the West. So Nadu, flying creature. You target it, you basically get value. It's insane. You either get a land on the battlefield or you're going to draw a card. Kodama of the West Tree. 3 mana, 3/3 reach. Modified creatures you control have trample. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land, put onto the battlefield, tapped and shuffled. That absolutely has nothing to do with Nadu at all. Nothing, in my opinion. At least in terms of the combo. How much? Whenever a modified creature control deals combat damage, search your library for a basic land card. Oh, I see. Okay, so if you played Nadu, you know what? Okay, I'll give this one to you. If you played Nadu for the ramp, in some capacity. so that when it was targeted, you got, like, if you drew a land, you got to put it on the battlefield. Kodama is that for if you want it. Whenever a modified creature deals combat damage, search your library for a basic land card, and you still get it onto the battlefield tab. But I don't, it's not a strong connection, in my opinion. Okay, SpikeX Spiegel says, we got a better, we have a better replacement to Upheaval, the Flood of Tears. Let's take a look at the Flood of Tears. 6 mana, sorcery, return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. I like that. That's cool. That's a great one. Okay, we got Not the Zilla. Trade secrets into trade secrets, words of wisdom. Trade secrets. A colluding card. Huge collusion. Target opponent draws 2 cards. Then you can draw up to 4 cards. You can keep doing that for forever. Just keep drawing cards till the cows come home. Words of wisdom, 2 mana instant. You draw 2 cards, then each other player draws a card. This is a very, very pathetic version of that other card. I wouldn't even say it's even remotely comparable, but at least it's sort of something. Okay, you and someone else are both going to get a deal out of this. Okay, we got Tommy Siddons with Coalition Victory. Hold on, I have super chats around here. Okay, I'm going to get to the super chats. Coalition Victory. Happily Ever After. Okay, we know Coalition Victory. A Wooburg and 3 generic. Sorcery, you win the game. If only you have each basic land type and a creature of each color. But it's too strong, apparently. But instead, we can have Happily Ever After, the 3-mana enchantment. ETB, each player gains 5 life and draws a card at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are 5 colors among permanents you control, and there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control, and or cards in the graveyard, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, you win the game. Few more extra steps, but it's 3 mana. Maybe it's better in some capacity. Okay, let's take a look at a super chat. We got Kagan. Thank you very much for your super chat. Biorhythm. And Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. So the Biorhythm, 8 mana, sorcery. Each player's life total becomes the number of creatures they control. So if you can ramp this out really quickly, you're going to ramp down your opponent's life totals really fast. Like, who the hell I don't know. This is a really weird card. I guess there are some ways of cheating this thing. There's going to be some people who have nothing on the battlefield, so it's like just GG. What are we replacing this with? Shaman of the What was this card? Shaman of the Forgotten Ways? I would just Shaman of the something. Shaman of Forgotten Ways? There we go. Okay, I found it. 3 mana for a 2/3 human shaman. Tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells. But it's got Formidable. For an entire 11 mana, tap. Each player's life total becomes the number of creatures they control. Activate this ability only if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater. This is a fantastic replacement to Biorhythm. Perfect. Love it. King Ginger says, I've won with Shaman of Forgotten Ways many times. How does that even happen? Everyone should be just completely sweating bullets trying to find a creature because they obviously see that the Formidable thing is coming. Okay, next up. Let's take a look at... Teamer says, I would say Mana Crypt Soul Ring. Come on, everyone's... No one can suggest that anymore. How many times are people going to suggest that? Okay, well, you have to give me the card. If you are suggesting a card, that's fine, but you have to suggest a card. You have to suggest the card also that it's replacing with bannings. Like Zelvin did. Braid's Cabal Minion. Ooh, Braid's Arisen Necropolis. So Braid's Cabal Minion, the 4 mana 2/2 at the beginning of each player's upkeep. That player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. And if this thing comes out quickly, you're going to be sacking the field. And we call, but The card that is legal is Braid's Arisen Nightmare, the 3-mana 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life, and you draw a card. So either you're going to make them sack, or you're going to get some value out of this. You're going to get something out of this. All right, next super chat. We got the Wall of Skulls. Thank you very much for your super chat. In honor of lots of fast mana getting banned, can we get some love for the Moon Silver Key? Moon Silver Key. Works for Soul Ring, Midnight Clock, Heraldic Banner, Basilisk Monolith, and etc. The 2-mana artifact. Pay 1, tap, sack it. Search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. Reveal it and put it to your hand, then shuffle your library. So we have a tutor for the best mana in your deck to replace what you had lost. So, hey, everyone says Soul Ring is just as good or better than Jeweled Lotus or Mana Crypt. And now you can search for either of them. This is actually not a bad suggestion, even though it's not a direct replacement. Okay, next up, we've got... Ryan loves the Moon Silver Key. Sheelan! Time Walk. Who doesn't like taking extra turns? Into Temporal Mastery. That is a unique one. Now, it's got the 7-mana sorcery. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile Temporal Mastery. But it's got Miracle. So, while you can't flash this back for the graveyard, you can absolutely play this at the beginning of your turn. For 2 mana. So you get... It literally can become Time Walk. In some capacity. Steve Cooper, thank you very much for your super chat. Replace Prophet of Krufix with Seedborn Muse. I think people already do. Prophet of Krufix. And also 2 donations. Thanks so much, Steve Cooper. 5 mana for a 2/3. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each other player's untap step. You may cast creature cards as though they had flash. This must have been a hell of a card to play against back in the day. I think I was around when it got banned, and that was like a million years ago. Seedborn Muse, the 5-mana 2/4 spirit. Now, you can't play your creatures at flash speed, but you still untap all perms you control during each other player's untap step. And hey, if your deck is full of flash speed cards, you basically don't lose out at all. Okay, we've got Gustav. Leovold might be banned, but Narset Part of Veils is not. Okay, so Leovold says each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Drawing extra cards? Not allowed around here. But what put this card like really over the top is not only is it a beating for the card draw, and it's also in blue, so you can play things like Time Twister and Windfall and so on. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you draw a card. That is insane value. You know what's also good value? Narset Parter of Veils. Also, each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn, so you're still shutting people off. If you dare want to take a wheel effect, you want to wheel around here? I'm not going to wheel while my Narset is here. And also gets value. -2, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it directly into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We've got some more donations, though. Dockside, Extortion, and Curdape, that is not a good replacement, in my opinion. Would you ever play a toxic deck in Commander? What do you mean by toxic? Like, figuratively or literally? Just replace Mox Sapphire with Basic Island. You know what? If you have no Basic Islands in your deck, that actually works. Okay, Eris, the best replacement ever. An upgrade even. Who needs Mana Crypt when you have Mind Stone? Trusty Mind Stone. I don't know if people are going to be on board with you with that one. 2-mana artifact. Tap, pay a colorless, or pay 1, tap, sacrifice, draw a card. What is this replacing? Oh, I'm guessing Primeval Titan? Primeval Titan. Okay, Roos, we got Rosalind here, who is suggesting Sundering Titan. So Primeval Titan, 6 mana, 6/6, gets value when it enters the battlefield. Search your library for 2 land cards. Sorry, not basic. 2 land cards, anything. Put them on the battlefield tapped. You know what also gets value when it enters the battlefield? Oh, this is not it. Yo, Sundering Titan for what? Okay, I thought you were talking about the Sun Titan. Okay, I have no idea what this is. Oh, there is replacements to Primeval Titan. Remember, it doesn't need to be a direct replacement. It can, like, loosely replace the damn card. Okay, Safifi. Dockside Extortionist. Going to be replaced by Jessica's Will. Probably best red fast mana in the ban. Or, sorry, is it Jessica's Will or Jessica's Will? Jessica's Will. Dockside Extortionist, 2 mana, get X treasure tokens for each artifact your opponents control. We got, I think it's Jessica's Will. There's no such thing as a Jessica's Will. Sure there is, the Jeskai do have a will, though. The 3 mana sorcery, choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this spell, choose both. Add red for each card in target opponent's hand. That's going to be a lot of mana. Or you can exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. So you can get a lot of mana. You can also get a lot of cards, one way or another. Golos replaced with Gix, Yawgmoth, Praetor. Do they even do anything remotely the same thing? Tireless. There was a time Golos was probably like the replacement to Primeval Titan. Okay, we have Gix, Yawgmoth. Okay, the Golos, 5 mana, 3/5. ETB, go get a land card, put onto the battlefield tapped. Also for Wooburg 2 generic, exile the top 3 cards of your library, and you can play them in this turn without paying its mana cost. That's free. That's a great deal. Gix says for 3 mana, it's a 3/3. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to an opponent, its controller may pay 1 life if they do draw a card. For 7 mana, discard X cards, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You may play land cards and cast spell from among them without paying their mana cost. That is a fantastic replacement. Not colorless, mind you, but you get the same effect if you want to be playing a lot of cards for a lot of mana. For free. At that, for free. Okay, get back to the super chats. You did Mox Sapphire replaced with Sapphire Medallion? What, like for like almost for flavor reasons? All right, Mox Sapphire, 0 mana, tap for a blue. But you know what? The colorless on blue cards, they're going down. It's going to be cheaper with the Sapphire Medallion. I think that's a very, very loose replacement. Christopher B, Mana Crypt into Lotus Petal. This is actually closer. Like when I was thinking what to replace my Mana Crypt, I was thinking maybe Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal, Chromox. Thinking of Chromox here. This also hurts me less if I play with Lotus Petal. It's gonna be cheap. Cheap on my life total. Next up, we got Kagan. Thank you very much for your super chats. Not 1-to-1. Nothing is 1-to-1 around here. Cage Sun. You can essentially replace Raphelos. So Raphelos even does more and works for more colors. That sounds great. So the green 2/1 tapped, add a green to your mana pool for each forest you control. Then we have Cage Sun for 6 mana. Enters the battlefield, you get to choose a color. I choose green. Creatures in control of the chosen color get +1/+1. And whenever a land's ability causes you to add one or more of the chosen mana, add 1 additional mana of that color. Okay. It's very off, in my opinion. Okay, I like this one. That's really close. Mox Amber. So you take any of the Moxins, Mox Amber. All you need. Oh my god, this is expensive. Commander players know about this card. This card used to be like nothing. People were sleeping on this card when it first came out. The 0 mana legendary artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. It's closest we're going to get to Moxin by today's standards. And adds 1 mana of any color. So long as it's the color of your commander. Okay, next up, let's take a look at... we actually got that. Dark Ritual has already been suggested. Although Dark Ritual was suggested in response to a Jeweled Lotus. Raphelos is banned in Commander. No, yeah. The Cage Sun was the replacement to Raphelos. Okay, what do we have here? Bokodi. Balance is banned. But using face to bow to instantly do restore balance, that does the same thing. Okay, let's look at restore balance. So balance, I think the card that you want to do is restore balance. Balance, 2 mana. Each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacks the rest. Players discard cards and sack creatures the same way. Restore balance. It's the same thing, but you just have to cheat it in play. It has to spend for 6. Each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacks the rest. Players sacrifice creatures and discard cards the same way. So you get this in play with As Foretold. You can cascade into it. I think there's a few other ways to cheat it in play. King Ginger's like, dang, I bought a Mox Amber for $8. Now it's $46. That's the last time I remember Mox Amber costing like anything. Yeah, I also thought it was like $8. All right, what else do I have here? Okay, Benjamin Berkeley says Greed would be also a great replacement to Yawgmoth's Bargain. Let's take a look at Greed. The Greed. Oh yeah, this is great. So we got 4-mana enchantment, pay a black, pay 2 life, draw a card. So hey, we are paying more life, but we got to do greatness at any cost. All right, there's no cost for greatness. No cost to get through that. Get that sweet, sweet, sweet card draw. Okay, Wall of Shards. Gitaxian Probe is... Gitaxian Probe's not banned in Commander. Dragon's Eye Savants? You're thinking of, like, Legacy. So, anyway, thank you very much for your super chat. We're going to donate the super chat. Gitaxian Probe is not banned in Commander. It is perfectly legal. It's banned everywhere else. If there was a format that it was... I think the only format it's like perfectly legal in is still Commander. It's not banned in Commander. What is wrong with you people? Okay, we're gonna donate that one to, I guess, Toilet Duck. You want replace Nadu with Kira? Go on. Let's look at Whisker Veil. Kira is not even close to the same. I have no idea where you're getting that comparison. How about this one? The 4-mana 3/4. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. I like this one. You may reveal a creature card or with mana value 3 or less from among them. You may put it onto the battlefield if it's your turn. If you don't put it onto the battlefield, you put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is actually perfect. This is a phenomenal parallel to Nadu. The only thing that sucks is that this is in white and Nadu was in blue and green, which is very, very convenient. Here, replace Gitaxian Probe with Gitaxian Probe. I like that. I like that idea, Ryan. It's a great idea. We already got replaced Grizzlebrand with Villas Broker of Blood. Replaced it already. Okay, another... Let's look at Padno with Shahrazad to Karn Liberated. Not bad. Okay, Shahrazad and Karn Liberated. That is probably the closest you're going to get to a sub-game, except it actually resets the game. So Shahrazad is like, okay, everyone's going to play a sub-game with the cards left in their library. Whoever wins, go back to the main game with half your life total. And then Karn Liberated at -14 says, we are going to restart this game, leaving in exile all non-aura permanent cards exiled with Karn Liberated, and then put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. So we're playing another game, but this time it's for keeps. This is an excellent idea. Okay, we're going to look at more cards that are replacements to banned Commander cards. But you know where to get them banned Commander cards? Nowhere else than FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to get my perfectly legal Magic the Gathering cards. Perfectly. You can also buy banned cards here. That's fine if you want to rule zero anything into the game. Deal of the week this week, save 15% off Lorwyn and Morning Tide singles. And also, remember, Duskmourn House of Horror has come out. It's available. Get your singles. I got to get my... I can't remember what this... Flood Pit Drowner. Something to that effect. And the way you support the channel is you can use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Play any deck, any format you want on Magic Online, Dual Commander, a commander in general, and don't be afraid of your cards getting banned, because you're only renting the cards anyway. And when the cards get banned, you just go rent new ones. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_QTP. All right, back to replacement Magic the Gathering cards. Okay, next up. Transdemon! I've been running eggs from Odyssey and the Ramos artifacts from Mercadian Mask now for my CDH decks. You can do that, but I don't think any of the eggs cards are banned. Alan, Gifts Ungiven into Intuition. You know, it's because I don't understand why Intuition is legal, because it's like almost identical. So we have Gifts Ungiven, 4 mana instant. Search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards and put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand. But you can do the trick where you just get 2 cards and they have only one choice but to put that pile into the graveyard. And then Intuition is in a similar vein, especially in Commander. Instant for 3 mana. Search your library for 3 cards and reveal them. Put the target opponent chooses one of them, put that card into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So you are still probably going to have a good pile. 3 cards. Target opponent chooses one of them. Yeah, so you're going to have to get 3 cards and 2 of them are going to get on the in the graveyard. My super chats take so long. Really? Oh, is there like a big lag? Maybe, or you could update the stream? You can press refresh. Okay, next super chat. We got from Padno. Need a cute otter for your deck? I would love a cute otter for my deck. What kind of otter are you suggesting? Want to copy instant and sorceries? Lutri, the Spell Chaser, is banned, but Kitsei Otterball Elite is not. Lutri, the Spell Chaser. Okay, Lutri, the 3 mana 3/2. Now, it has a companion restriction, but it's not much of a restriction because all the cards in your deck is like, you only have 1 copy. It's got flash. When it enters the battlefield, you can copy your instants and sorceries. Kitsa, on the other hand, is perfectly fine to play. We have a 2 mana 1/3, Vigilance, Prowess, tap to draw and discard a card. But it also copies instants and sorceries, but for 2 mana and tapping, you may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if Kitsa's power is 3 or greater. We gotta pump that Kitsa up. Kitsa gotta grow up into a big otter. MTG Gaming Bob. Caracas into Crystal Shard. Never heard of Crystal Shard. Caracas will bounce them legendaries back to your hand. Also taps for a mana. Crystal Shard. It's a 3 mana artifact. Pay 3 tap or blue tap. Return target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 1. This is like, okay, we're gonna bounce anything back to your hand. Be legendary or not. It's actually way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like also bouncing legendaries, but for like a cost that's just literally just perpetually bounces stuff. Oh, unless its controller pays 1. Oh, that's a bit of a downside. That's a little awkward. Okay, don't be tapping out around here, I guess. No tapping outies. No tapsies outsies. Elixir with the balance replaced with... Oh, we did that one already. Sorry about that. Gonna keep an eye. Oh, John got... I don't know. I think John got sniped too. Okay, John, Elixir. Hope you have like some different cards. Elixir, did you suggest anything else around here? Okay, let's do yours. I got sniped. I'll do Chaos Orb with Blasphemous Act. What the hell do these have to do with each other? Okay, I guess you're talking about, in theory, the whole rip the card up thing and then sprinkle it all over everywhere is very similar to Blasphemous Act. It might as well do the same damn thing for just as much mana. So no one's gonna pay 9 mana for Blasphemous Act. It's always gonna be 1 to 2 mana. So you can like basically destroy all the creatures. Does it destroy anything though? Destroy any cards. It could literally destroy any cards that touch it. Well, that's not quite the same thing with Blasphemous Act, but we can still blow up a lot of stuff for very little mana. Elixir, do you have a replacement? I'm keeping an eye out for you, Elixir. I look out for all my coffee crew. I should be more aware of the super chats. This is not the same. Come on. That's not... You could say... And Thas... Okay, well, anyway, those are not even close to the same types of cards. Yeah, the old dexterity cards. Yeah, Chaos Orb hits anything. Ooh, I like this one from Kano. Ancestral Recall with Visions of Beyond. Okay, so we got a blue. Just draw 3 cards at instant speed. Visions from Beyond. What is it? Visions? Oh, sorry, it's Visions of Beyond. Blue instant, draw a card. But if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3 cards instead. Okay, I could accept this one. Coalition victory to door to nothingness. I guess if there's like 2 people left, coalition victory for Wooburg, you can win the game, and then door to nothingness is a funny replacement. Also for Wooburg, double Wooburg, tap sack it. Target player loses the game. That's very, very funny. Okay, Pace is fan forever. Replace Dockside Extortionist with Treasure Nabber. We're gonna nab them treasures. Okay, this is a 3-mana 3/2 Goblin Rogue. Whenever an opponent taps an artifact for mana, gain control of that artifact until the end of your next turn. Taps an artifact for mana, you gain control of that. Oh, that's interesting. That's an artifact for mana. Does that? But can you steal their treasures with this? I can't tell if you can steal treasures with this thing or not. Elixir, do you have a replacement card? I don't see I don't even know if Elixir is still here. Detroit says, honestly, Soul Ring does need to go if Mana Crypt was a problem. It's just part of the format. You got to deal with it. You suck it up. They said no. It stays. Okay, Elixir is still here. How about Iona replaced with Void Winnower? I like that one. Iona. So the whole point of Iona... Too many Ionas. Iona Shield. And then we have Void Winnower. Okay, so the whole point of Iona is be like... let me give you a super chat sound effect for this. You enters the battlefield, you choose a color. Your opponents can't cast spells of the chosen color. Well, guess what? You know what? We may not be able to choose a color, but we are sure as hell damn going to choose something. We're going to choose your opponent's not going to be able to cast spells with even converted mana cost. And 0 is considered even. Your opponents can't block either with creatures with even converted mana costs either. Fantastic replacement. Still says no for you doing anything. Can't steal treasures because it's sacking is part of the... yeah, that's what I figured. Sacking is still part of it. What does Nedim have? Rain of Filth could be a good as fast mana. Rain of Filth. Each land you control has sacked this land. It's not the same. It's not even close. I do not count that. How about Jeweled Amulet for Jeweled Lotus? Never heard of Jeweled Amulet. Let's take a look at Jeweled Amulet. 0 mana. It's an artifact. Pay 1 tap. Put a charge counter on Jeweled Amulet. Note the type of mana spent to pay this activation. I pay blue mana. Play this ability only if there are no charge counters on the Jeweled Amulet. Tap, remove a charge counter from Jeweled Amulet. Add 1 mana of Jeweled Amulet's last noted type to your mana pool. This is such a bad replacement. Replacement it is, though. Okay, next up... Well, let's get a super chat. Let's take a look at Wall Skull. Sway the Stars with the Midnight Clock. Can't remember what Sway of the Stars did for like 10 mana. Each player shuffles their hand, graveyard, and permanents they own into their deck, then draw 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. Ah, yes, it's one of these reset the game cards. Midnight Clock, however, is this also a reset the game? It's only 3 mana. Maybe it's even more a danger. Tap for blue, pay 3 mana, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. When the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards. Hand in graveyard, exile Midnight Clock. This is a very, very loose analogy. Very loose to the Sway of the Stars. Isn't this just like... This is more of a... You know what? I think this is a bad replacement to the Sway of the Stars. I think this is a much better... Oh, no, but Time Twister is legal. I was about to say this is a great replacement to Time Twister, but Time Twister is like 100% legal around here. Okay, so good enough. What else do we have? You want Grizzlebrand into Atraxa? Okay, sure, Grizzlebrand into Atraxa. This is like not really a great replacement in Commander, but this is certainly this superseded Grizzlebrand. I would not really consider this like a great replacement to Grizzlebrand though. Although it does a similar enough thing. You're going to draw a lot of cards when it enters the battlefield. You look at the top 10 cards of your library, and for each card type, put it into your hand. Okay, next up. Time Vault and Mindslaver do different things. Honestly, Fabricio. Well, Skulls with an more enormous super chat. Rule lost a large chunk of my finger today at work. What? But hey, that comes with it. Thanks for the show. You're welcome, Wall of Skulls. Whose Rule lost a large chunk of my finger? And what are they doing? Okay, super chats all around. I'm gonna look at... You know, let me get this one out of the way. I'm gonna get some of these super chats out of the way. Pacers fan forever. Mana Crypt into Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond. To be honest, I think a lot of people who own Mana Crypt already owned Mox Diamond. In my opinion. Steve Cooper. Reoccurring Nightmare. Yeah, this is a perfect replacement. Recurring Nightmare. They basically they have an obsession with here, hold on. How do I spell this? Chthonian Nightmare. Okay, so now instead of Reoccurring Nightmare, we have Chthonian Nightmare, which means you need the energy. So we have a 2-mana enchantment, enters the battlefield, you get triple energy, pay X and an energy, sack a creature, return Chthonian Nightmare to its owner's hand, but return target creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. Keep them energy up. You're going to keep bringing back things from the graveyard. Okay, let's get through a ton of donations here. You know, I think there's another artifact out there that gives you an extra turn. Because Mindslaver doesn't give you really an extra turn. It just steals your opponent's turn to some degree. Okay, how about... Bryce says, how about Cavern Horde Dragon to replace Dockside? It's sure. 9 mana, 6/6. Cost X less to cast. Oh, where X is the greatest number of artifacts your opponents control. You might be onto something, Bryce. It's got Flying Trample and Haste, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. This is a absolute banger suggestion. I think this is a great idea. I think it could end up costing 2 mana. It has haste, and you could end up getting a bunch of treasures. I think this is a really, really good suggestion. Kind of with the Time Sieve, yes. Okay, so Time Vault. Time Vault is an artifact that gives you extra turns. The problem is with, like, you know, Tolarian Academy or there's a few of those keys out there. You can untap it for infinite turns. But then there's Time Sieve. I spelled that right, which I did not. Now, this is also an artifact that gives you extra turns. It's a black-blue artifact. Tap, sack 5 artifacts, take an extra turn after this one. So if you can keep up the artifact, like the artifact chain, make artifacts on a regular basis, you also can get infinite turns. A little bit more work, but you know what? It works. It's a great one. Teamer wants Falling Star into Naya Charm. What does Falling Star do? You have to play this from a height of at least 1 foot, but must turn 360 degrees. Okay, what does it do? Tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. Oh, it deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on. If Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect. Naya Charm. Deals 3 damage to target creature. Return target card from a graveyard to its hand. Tap all creatures target player controls. Oh! So you could get the tap. You know what? This is a great idea. So you get a little bit of the tap effect, but you also can get the 3 damage effect. That's amazing. Surprised you could. I'm surprised this is so close to Falling Star. I'm actually impressed. Time Sifter. This is legal. And I'm pretty sure Lighthouse Chronologist is also legal. Or did they ban this card? No, these are all legal. We need replacements to banned cards, not replacements to legal cards. Max! Thopter Assembly, plus Sieve, instant infinite turns. You got that right. That's right. That's how it works around here. Shadow Walker says we have another replacement to balance with Mythos of Snapdax. This is a 4-mana sorcery. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, then sack the rest. Now, if Rakdos was spent to cast the spell, you choose the permanent for each player instead. Holy crap, that is insane. I think this is a great budget replacement to balance. And on top of that, I think it can be unfair. It could be completely broken. Next up, we got Wall Skulls. Last chat was a typo. I got injured, not... Oh, you got injured. Sorry about that, Wall Skulls. Well, it's always a good time to spend the day here with the rest of our coffee crew. You gotta keep all your fingers, though, so you can hold on to that coffee cup. Thanks for that super chat. Okay, who hasn't got a card yet? Trade Secrets, Consecrated Sphinx, supposed to donate one of them. That's funny. Consecrated Sphinx. You're not wrong. Not wrong there, Pimp. Okay, so the idea is we have 2 Consecrated Sphinxes, but we give one of them to somebody. Then when they draw a card, we can draw 2 cards. And basically, we effectively created a makeshift Trade Secrets. That's funny. What else do we have here? Did anyone not get a card? I think everyone's got a card. Everyone's out there for seconds now. Lotus Bloom ain't too bad. You know what? That's a great one. So instead of Jeweled Lotus, there are still lotuses out there. The Lotus Bloom, and so long as you're not in a hurry, Lotus Bloom is completely fine. You pay it for 0 on turn 1, and then in 3 more turns, boom, bam, you got 3 mana. Could even be considered better than Black Lotus. You can also tutor this thing onto the battlefield through some other cards. Tyrant for Areo. Oh, I think someone said something like that. So Jin Gitaxias. Well, and then we get Areo on here. Which one? The original one? I love Areo. No one loves Areo but me, though. Okay, so after the 4th spell is played, you got to flip your Areo. Encounter this first spell played by each opponent each turn. Jin Gitaxias. Whenever you cast it's got Ward 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, you get to draw a card. And then for 4 mana, you can exile, put it back onto the battlefield. And it exiles into the Great Synthesis. What does this have to do with Areo? Or is this did I get the wrong Jin Gitaxias? The Progress Tyrant. All right. Whenever you cast an instant, artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, we copy that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn, but whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, we counter it. And this ability only triggers once each turn. Love it. Okay, that's a perfect replacement. It's much more expensive, but you know what? If you played 4 spells in 1 turn, you can play a few rituals or mana rocks to ramp this thing out onto the battlefield. MTG Gaming Bob, Mythos of Snapdax plus Turgrid. Is Turgrid banned? Turgrid's legal. Oh, you're just mentioning a combo around here. Benjamin, Time Walk. Supremely banned card, but we can play the Capture of Yinzhou. Okay, the Capture of Yingzhou for 5 mana. We can take an extra turn after this one. Basically, just another Time Walk. Toes, hey, just out of the pool therapy. What we doing? We are giving replacement cards to banned commander cards. Crafty Cam, Tolarian Academy. Love this card. Storm the Vault. I never really got to play with Tolarian Academy. I played with it a few times in Vintage. It's awesome. You still want to play with cards like that? You got to play it in Vintage. Storm the Vault. It's a 4-mana legendary enchantment. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap. Sack the artifact, add 1 mana. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, we are going to transform this thing into a Tolarian Academy. But also, you can tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So it's like a super City of Brass or something. Super City of Brass. Okay, Toilet Duck has a replacement to Time Walk and Ancestral Recall. Plea for power. I think the back half of the show is better than the front half, where we're getting like really niche cards now here. 4-mana sorcery, Will the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for time or knowledge. If time gets more votes, take an extra turn after this one. That's insane. If knowledge gets more votes, or the vote is tied, draw 3 cards? This card is nuts! This card is insane! Each player votes... Oh, I see. Okay, I misinterpreted this wrong. I thought it's for each vote. No. It's just, okay, whatever is the most. So you're either getting 3 cards or you're getting an extra turn. Still, I still think it's bonkers. It's nice. But I thought it was like literally like you get 3 cards for each vote, because there's a few voting cards that are like that. Yeah, it's just draw 4. Sorry, it's 4-mana draw 3, 99% of the time. We did this one, Max. A great suggestion, but we did that one. Oh boy. I'd say the closest to Nadu. I think the closest to Nadu is not... Okay, let's look at Sakashima of 1,000 faces when it comes to scrolling through deck in convoluted turns. Sakashima of the 1,000. Nope. I'm just going to Sakashima. Oh, I don't know what happened. It may have enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature you control, except it has Sakashima of 1,000 faces, other abilities. The legend rule doesn't apply, and as partner. I don't know what the comparison to Nadu is here. Unless you're thinking of another Sakashima. You know what I think was a good replacement to Nadu? It's not a legendary creature, but what's it called? Cephalid Illusionist. This was literally how you won in Legacy before Nadu. And now that Nadu's around, people play Cephalid and Nadu. Because when this becomes the target of a spell or ability, you put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. So effectively, with a 0-mana equip artifact, you just put your entire deck into the graveyard and you just combo off from there. Please read your comment again. Okay, I'm gonna do it slowly. So, closest to Nadu is Kodama of the East Tree plus Saka. Oh, you want to have both when it comes to scrolling through your deck in convoluted turns? Okay, I understand, old boy. Thanks. Islar, fast bond into... So instead of fast bond, we go for Burgeoning. Green enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. This is an amazing replacement. I like that one. It's base. Your base. I mean, it might as well be fast bond. It might as well. Honestly, I would replace Nadu with Chulane. No, it's possible too. Closed Nadu is also banned, which is Leovold. Yeah. Replace one banned card with another banned card. What is balancing at, Christopher B? I don't know. Like, you're not giving me like any cards that you're replacing this easy? Is this to replace balance? 4-mana sorcery. Each player chooses a number of permanents they control equal to the number of permanents controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacks the rest. All right, that definitely works. Each player discards cards from their hand the same way. Somehow balance is banned, but all these other effects, perfectly legal. Still around. Who else do we have here? Okay, Pedgeman has, well, even though we can't play Black Lotus, you can use Jeweled Lotus as a replacement in Commander. Oh, no, wait. Anyways, Lotus Bloom and Lotus Ring. We looked at Lotus Bloom already, but let's look at the Lotus Ring. It's a 3-mana indestructible equipment. Oh, yeah, this one. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has Vigilance. You can also tap and sack the creature to add 3 mana to your mana pool. Also equipped for 3 mana. It doesn't feel free, that's for sure. Shuko is back to 10 cents, as it should be. As it should be. Okay, you have a replacement to the Malevolent, Recurring Nightmare. Malevolent Awakening. Okay, this is a weak one. Malevolent Awakening. 3-mana enchantment, pay 3, sack a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Honestly, I think it's great. I like this one. It's simple, it's to the point, and I think it more or less does what you want it to do. You might not be cheating creatures onto the battlefield, but damn, you at least get the creature back in commission. Can we get a PEDH stream? The hell is that? PEDH was like Pauper? Pauper EDH? Yes, we've done Shahrazad and Card Liberated already. We got TOIC. Oh, I guess your name is Toxic without the X. Plea for Power is nice. I like X. Hold on. Plea. Hold on. You saw expropriate. Okay, I think you meant expropriate as a replacement to both Ancestral Recall and what's it called? Time Walk. So for 9 mana, starting with you, each player votes for time or money. I like both. For each time vote, take an extra turn after this one. That's what I was thinking of. And then for each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. See, in this case, they might give you extra turns. Banned an Oathbreaker, but not banned an actual commander. No, it's tonic without the N. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, Christopher B's probably got one. Sway of the Stars to World Purge. Okay, we got for 8 mana, return all permanents to their owner's hands. Each player chooses up to 7 cards in their hand, then shuffles the rest into their library. Empty all mana pools. This is also a good replacement to, what's it called? Upheaval. I think this is a really good Upheaval replacement. Somber Knight. Neither of these cards have anything to do with each other. Nothing to do with each other. Me when I spread misinformation. Oh, yeah. So you're just taking a shot in the dark or something? Okay, Gustav. Limited resources, Worms of the Earth, or land equilibrium. Okay, let's look at limited resources. Resources? Okay, and you want to say Worms of the Earth? Okay, white enchantment. When limited resources comes into play, each player chooses 5 lands they control and sacks the rest. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands. So this is, oh yeah, so this is like also similar to balance, except it's like, oh no, this is not even legal either. So what's the card you want to replace these with? Where did I... Oh, PEDH is where your commander is any uncommon, non-legendaries included, and all cards in the deck are commons. Oh, interesting. Oh, so it's like sounds like very pauperish like. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me comments coming out really hard and fast over here. What was the card that was supposed to be legal? I missed the comment. Oh, here from Gustav. Land equilibrium. Okay, that one is legal. This is a 4-mana enchantment. If an opponent who controls at least as many lands as you do would put a land onto the battlefield, that player instead puts that land onto the battlefield, then sacrifices a land. This is actually very close to this is a very good parallel to limited resources, because you will at this point be limited to limited resources. Whatever lands are in play, that's all you're gonna have for the rest of the game, more or less. Does it say sacrifice? Yeah, you have to sacrifice a land. Okay, so you don't have protection from destruction. Summer Night, Emrakul, Aeon's Torn. Aeon's Torn. Emrakul, the world anew. Emrakul. Are they similar enough? Do they have Annihilator? Okay, hold on. Emrakul can't be countered. You know, you take an extra turn after this one. It's got Flyer. It's got Annihilator 6. It's got protection from spells that are one or more colors. If it goes into the graveyard, shuffle it back into the deck. Emrakul, World Anew also has flying. Also has protection from spells. Not protection from everything, but protections from spells from permanents that were cast this turn. And when you cast the spell, you gain control of all creatures target player controls. There's enough similarities. I'll live with it. I'd be happier though if Emrakul had the Annihilator, because I think that's effectively why Emrakul is banned. You know, you just annihilate one person out of the game. It's like, okay, I attack. You may not be dead yet, but you're effectively dead. No, the replacements need to be legal. All the replacements need to be legal. Urza is a replacement for Golos. Oh, Urza. That is a really interesting idea. Urza, Lord High Artificer. See, when Golos enters the battlefield, you get a land from your deck. When Urza enters the battlefield, you get a construct, but it can be tapped for a blue mana. And then all artifacts you have can be tapped for blue. Now, on top of that, you can pay 5, shuffle your library, then exile the top card, and until end of turn, you can play that card without paying its mana cost. I think that is a fantastic replacement. You got to be in blue, of course. But it basically, I never thought about this, but they basically do the same thing. You have no card yet? What about Lotus Petal as a replacement for Jeweled Lotus? Oh, we've done that one. Give me another one, Croker Games. Yeah, we looked at Lotus Petal. Shanna, Ancestral Vision. To replace Ancestral Recall. That's right. Suspend for 4. Or just try to cheat it in play somehow. Target player draws 3 cards. It's an excellent way to feel the power of Ancestral Recall. Timeless Lotus. This feels like it's its own card. It's a 5 mana, enters the battlefield tapped. You tap it for like Wooburg. I don't feel like this is like close to any of the cards that got banned. Both these cards are still legal, Toads. Despite what some people might think, Thassa's Oracle is still legal. Tiger says, I see that landing Equilibrium could combo with Armageddon and shut down the game. Absolutely. Axonort, Oswald Fiddlebender to replace Tinker. The 2-mana 2/2 Magical Tinkering for a white tap. Sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrifice artifact's mana value. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. I love it. I love it. Blood Moon to replace Dockside for Mono Red. They don't have anything to do with each other. Like, we're looking for cards that are like somewhat of a virtual replacement in like theme. Like Oswald, you sack an artifact and you're putting an artifact onto the battlefield from your deck. Same thing what Tinker does. So I really like this type of suggestion. Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Veil. I don't remember what this card does. Is it a land or something? Yeah, when it comes into play, sacrifice 2 untapped lands or bury Lotus Veil. Tapped, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Just counter the trigger when it comes into play, I guess. This card looks, yeah, wow, it's $31. Yeah, I'm not surprised that this card is supremely expensive. King Ginger never gave me a replacement to that very first super chat, so we gotta donate it, I guess. Ooh, Max, this is a great suggestion. Replace Mana Crypt with Mox Tantalite. Actually, that is a banger suggestion. Although it only adds 1 mana of any color. Isn't there a Soul Ring like card that's similar? So this one has Suspend 3. You add 1 mana of any color. I could swear there was a Soul Ring one, and maybe it has Suspend 4, but maybe I'm wrong. What's your balance suggestion? Let's look at you, Toads. Balance into Magus of the Balance. Is that a real card? It sounds like you just made that up. I guess it's a real card. 2 mana for a 2/2 human wizard, and for 5 mana, tap sack it. Each player chooses a number of lands they control equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacks the rest. Players discard cards and sack creatures the same way. Yeah, that's a great one. Was it Soul Talisman? Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. You want to play with Mana Crypt? Boom, there's your Mana Crypt. And you know what? It's $1. It's a $1. I think this is a great replacement. I think I should start playing with this card. Soul Talisman, aka Slow Ring, is what you're thinking. The slow, I like that. That's I love. Sounds like a great name. The Slow Ring. Islarv is like, sorry, staying power into Sundial. What is staying power? This is not. It's not a legal card. These are all illegal cards. It was never legal in the first place. Ancient Tomb will replace Mana Crypt. That's you know what? That is. There's a lot of truth to that. If you don't own Ancient Tomb, well, you're probably gonna start reaching for it now. It's probably the closest we got. It's also 0 mana. It also hurts you. But this one does an average of 2 damage instead of 1.5. Yeah, but it's similar. Trust me. Yeah, but I don't care. This show is not about the banned cards. If replacements don't have to be legal, the replacements have to be legal. I said so. The replacements have to be legal. Hey, Pabno, thanks so much for your super chat. And recall Aeon's Torn into Phyrexian Obliterator. And a fight spell. I know from experience. Okay. Phyrexian Obliterator. Pabno is like, I know from experience. Trust me. The Obliterator is a 4 mana 5/5 trample. If a source deals damage to a Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacks that many permanents. So you just gotta fight. You want to get into a fight with another creature and make that opponent lose all their permanents. Crowcore Games, replace balance with restore balance. We did that one. Oh, poor Crowcore Games. Just trying to get on the scoreboard somehow. That's why you gotta come early, Crowcore Games. Tomb is spiking hard, I imagine. Because if you never had the if you didn't own an Ancient Tomb, you got to get on that. Give me another one, Crowcore Games. There's still time. You got like 3 minutes. You got 4 minutes. Okay, Pedgeman has Primeval Titan into the Overlord of the Huntwoods. The Hauntwoods, not the okay. Okay, for 5 mana, we got a 6/5 Avatar Horror with Impending 4 for 3 mana. If you cast this spell for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters and isn't a creature until the last is removed. Isn't this just suspend? At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. What's the difference between this and suspend? Okay, whenever Overlord of the Haunted Woods enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless land token named everywhere that is every basic land type. Oh yeah, okay. I can get behind that. It's got vibes. Dan W, what I want to know is who owned Mana Crypt but didn't own Ancient Tomb? Good, yeah, this is a good question. Well, the person who had to budget. You know, some people have a budget out there, Dan W. They had to choose one or the other. They couldn't get both. Okay, Islarf with channel into Treasonous Ogre. Treasonous. Four mana for a 2/3 with Dethrone. Pay 3 life, add red to your mana pool. All right. We're gonna pay a lot more mana than we would have with what's it called? Than channel. But yeah, we are gonna pay life for mana. That's it's basically the new rate. 3 life for 1 red. Minkoa Biorhythm into Repay in Kind. You're paying kind the 7 mana sorcery. Each player's life total becomes the lowest life total among all players. Well, yeah, but you need... Well, okay, it's similar. Similar enough. You have to get someone really, really low. Okay, Croker Games. Mana Vault being replaced by 3 Tree City. This is the it's a pretty new legendary land. Choose a creature type, tap for a colorless, or pay 2, tap, choose a color, add an amount of mana of that color equal to the number of creatures you control of the chosen type. Basically a Nykthos, to some capacity. We did Happily Ever After. That must have been a really good one because a lot of people are saying that one. We did... Oh, I don't think we did Greed. No, we did Greed. Yeah, it's a black pay 2 life draw card. Yeah, we did Greed as a replacement to Yawgmoth's Bargain. Imprison to Flood? Imprison. I don't know what Imprison is. Such card does not exist. And this card is perfectly legal. Is Flood a card? Okay, this one I knew, but I don't know what the banned card is, so it doesn't count. Summer Night Crusade. The white give all creatures +1/+1. Call to arms. We have a 2-mana enchantment. As call to arms enter the battlefield, you choose a color and an opponent. White creatures get +1/+1. But when the chosen color isn't the most common color among permanents the chosen player controls, you have to sacrifice a call to arms. Isn't there like a lot of basically Crusade replacements? I'm pretty sure. This is just one. Imprison is a banned card. Imprisoned. Oh, it's one of the culturally insensitive cards. So, okay, so you want Flood? What did okay, hold on. Imprison? Uncle Google will tell me what Imprison. I don't even know what this one was. It's like a black enchant creature, pay 1 life each time a target creature attempts to attack, block, or tap it. You can, you can pay 1 mana. That action is prevented, and the creature becomes tapped. Destroy enchantment if mana is not paid. Okay, interesting. Same thing. Yeah, we got very similar. Pay blue, tap target creature without flying. Man, I distinctly remember this exact card so much because it was like a super common card in like the bulk bin of my of all the boxes of cards when I first started getting into Magic the Gathering. It's like, I would like to see all the blue cards, please. And it was just a bunch of flooding everywhere. Gustav, Paradox Engine to the Unwinding Clock. Paradox Engine, 5 mana. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land perms you control. Danger! But Gustav says Unwinding Clock is a good replacement. Unwinding Clock says 4 mana artifact. Untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. Well, they do a little bit different things. This is very close to Wilderness Reclamation. I agree, though. Okay, Jess has one more super chat for the road. Black Lotus replaced with Lotus Petal. Okay, we're going to dono this one. We've got Lotus Petal's already shown up on the show. Ooh, I like this one from Benjamin. Library of Alexandria. Placed by Magus of the Library. Library of Alexandria. Tap for a colorless. Or tap, draw a card. Activate only if you control exactly 7 cards in your hand. Magus of the Library. A green, 1 mana. Also taps for a mana. Or you can tap to draw a card. Play this ability only if you have exactly 7 cards in your hand. Card draw. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you very much for everybody's suggestion. As usual, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or super chat so other people can be part of the show. And thank you so much, everyone, for showing up today. Being part of the show. People like Jess and Crowcore Games, on Hunter, and Lestian, Pedgeman, Kano, Tiger, Argentina, Benjamin Berkeley, Pabno, Old Boy, Somber Knight, and Ryan Harris, Hexanort, because you guys are the crew. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees. We're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.